We are continuing our journey to the TVFCU Idea Leap grant giveaway that'll be taking place later this spring in the month of May, where they're giving away a lot of money to area businesses in the North Ocoee region, Northwest Georgia, and as well as right here in Chattanooga. So we're having a chance to be a part of the Ocoee-Bradley County part of it, as well as North Georgia. So this morning, let's head down to Rocky Face, Georgia, and pay a visit to Gowin Valley Farms, where Reigel and Gabe Harrison are doing wonders with mushroom farming. We are in a culinary treasure trove this morning as we walk our way down to the TVFCU Idea Leap Grant semifinalists. This is Reigel, Gabe Harrison, and they have Gowin Valley Farms, one of the semifinalist contestants. So good to see you both and congratulations.
Thank you. It's
Thank
great
you
to
so
see
much.
So here we are. People are probably looking behind y'all thinking, okay, what do you mean this culinary treasure trove? But if you enjoy restaurants like St. John's, Whitebird, you can keep naming the list. The mushrooms you're enjoying often come from you.
Oh yeah, it's been a great kind of different thing I do in my life later on, and Gabe has really taken over all of the scientific part, but it's been such a journey.
So where we are, it's this very narrow space. Your farm is in Rocky Face, technically. What are we in? This building is a converted what? Trailer?
Yes, this is a 40-foot retrofitted reefer unit. It's basically an automated shipping container that has controls for temperature, humidity, CO2, and light that are all maintained by a software. And we received this through a specialty crops block grant with Kennesaw State University in 2021, and have been able to grow a lot of different varieties in here.
So now if you get the money with the TVFCU Idea Leap grant, the hope is to add a second unit like this. But this is, I would call it sustainable agriculture at its best. Is that a fair way to phrase it, Emma?
Absolutely. It takes less than 2 gallons of water for 1 pound of mushrooms to grow versus 1 pound of beef takes over 2,000 gallons. So it's not only energy efficient, but it's also more sustainable agriculturally with water. And also it's great because it's a year-round item to grow. So whether it's hot, cold, drought, we're able to sustain all of our mushrooms year round, and we can grow warm fruiting species or cold fruiting species, even in the summer or the winter. So we really are able to kind of cultivate whatever we want when we want.
We'll talk about all that you do cultivate in a minute, but I love the story kind of behind the story, and yours has a great one. So you mentioned that this is kind of a hobby or a passion that you picked up, as you put it, later in life. But the land that we're on is family land.
Yeah.
Your grandfather had this farm, and you and he were tight.
Yes.
And you always knew you wanted to do something here, but you never could envision it to become this.
Yeah, so since I was little, he'd ask me what I wanted to do, and I'd say, oh, I want to do something with the farm. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur and own my own business. My grandpa, my dad did. So I always loved this farm. I came out here, it was kind of my second home. And he'd always ask me, oh, how are you going to do that? And I said, I don't know, I'm going to figure it out. So I like to say I'm figuring it out. And we started our farm when I was 26 and Gabe was 25. So maybe not so much later. But I had a completely different life in Atlanta doing marketing, and he was in tech. So, we were on a completely different track of life. And with COVID, I lost my job. Everybody got laid off, and Gabe was working remotely. So we came up here kind of temporarily and really found our passion, and it has been history ever since.
I think I had the story kind of right, that it was a walk on the farm with your grandfather that kind of triggered the idea because there was a tree that had some mushrooms growing underneath.
Yes, so we found some golden chanterelles, which are not cultivatable. They're a mycorrhizal fungi, so they have to kind of be outside and in this harmony with trees and the soil. And so my grandpa knew what they were. We started doing some studying. We loved foraging, going out and finding things in the woods in general, metal detecting. And we just suddenly had such a passion for it. And we did some research and realized, oh, it's something that's a sustainable agriculture, which was really important to me. But it was something we could do year round. And he was hooked, I was hooked. And so we just kind of delved in, and we found an article, my friend sent it to me, about about Kennesaw State doing the Specialty Crops Block Grant, and I just sent in a blind email after we had started outdoor logs, and the next day we were the fourth and final Georgia farm to be a part of their mushroom cultivation grant.
So now let's talk about the varieties that you have here, because I mentioned a couple of restaurants. I'm sure y'all could continue to name more that I'm not even thinking of, but often you'll see on menus that they'll reference the different types of mushrooms that are included in the dishes. It's endless, and y'all have so many of them here.
Yeah, we're able to grow about 15 varieties in here simultaneously, and because of our environmental conditions, they're all able to coexist together. And we work with about 20 restaurants in Chattanooga. Some are kind of weekly customers, and then others do special rotations with specific varieties of our mushrooms. Here we've got some different things like lion's mane, different varieties of oyster and chestnut mushrooms, and king trumpets up top.
There's not a single one that we can ask you about that you can't both quickly identify the differences in taste. One of them you told me, is it called a pink oyster that has a bacon flavor?
It does. If you also, it's a great vegan bacon. If you do a flash fry or a flash saute and make them crispy, you can use them in a salad as kind of a false bacon. Or you can fry them like chicken nuggets, but they have a great flavor.
I think it's going to be a little bit healthier than a chicken nugget.
Yes, exactly.
Now, are y'all selling to restaurants exclusively, or can individual people buy from you too?
You can actually find us at the Chattanooga Market. So from April until December, we're set up every Sunday at the Chattanooga Market. It's usually from 11 to 4. And we'll have all of the different mushroom varieties there, but we also do things like extracts, grow kits, and other byproducts that are made with our mushrooms.
Because you were telling me about the one that you found with your grandfather. That one, as you scientifically put it, needs the soil and the tree, but many of these you're growing just from spores. Is that right?
So we do everything from spore to fruit. So we have 2 laboratories, and we have an autoclave, and kind of the idea is if we also get the grant, we would be able to increase our production capacity on the machinery side as well. And so we are able to take a spore even from a wild forage mushroom, like oyster mushroom that we find on the farm. We can plate it out and then eventually have it growing here, which is to me just really amazing. And all of what we do, we actually provide data to Cornell and Kennesaw State University. So we're getting to grow with kind of a greater purpose. We're providing data, but also getting to feed our community with the fresh fruit.
Well, I was going to ask you, because y'all make it seem so very easy, but it can't possibly be. I mean, did you have a lot of trial and error in the beginning?
We definitely did, and there's a huge learning curve associated with mushrooms, but it's been a huge help. We have a research partnership with UTC in Chattanooga, and then with Dalton State College. So undergraduate and graduate research students get to come out and have projects where they are able to earn course credit in exchange for helping us out on the farm.
So spore to table.
Yes.
What's the timeline?
Different species take different times. So oyster would take maybe less than even 30 days. A lion's mane may take 2 months. Maybe a little less. King trumpets, chestnuts, maybe a little bit longer, but specialty can go as long as 6 months, which we work on as well. But the average, I would say, is 30 days from laboratory to fruiting.
So at the market, because that season's about to open up soon, so people will be very eager to hear that they can meet you there. Do you guide people on what to buy if they're looking for a certain taste or a certain dish?
Absolutely, we can help people out, especially because they are more novelty and specialty. A lot of people are interested in trying them but don't know where to start. So we love to educate. We provide recipes, little informational cards that kind of tell you the nutritional, potential medicinal ability effects, and then also kind of the flavor profile. And that's kind of something that I've just done on the side. It's fun.
You are definitely a big-brained person, Emma, and I know you are too, Gabe. But here you are. I know you were at Emory for a while, and I think was it writing that you did at Emory?
Yeah, I did creative writing at Emory, and then I got my master's in marketing at Clemson. So I kind of tied creative with business.
And now here you are doing mushrooms. So do you think that maybe your winding has stopped and this is where you're here to stay?
Yes, I was talking to my family and I was like, we talked about our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan, and it's just mushrooms. Like no matter how we expand or what we do, we like to leave it kind of open to see what lies in front of us and kind of what falls into place. But we are going to be mushroom farmers for probably the rest of my working life.
Future is fungal.
I think the future is fungal. What is your favorite before I let you run? Do you have a favorite mushroom?
Lion's mane.
Lion's mane, and then my secondary would be the chestnuts because they just have such a great flavor and texture. They don't get rubbery even if you cook them for hours in soups or stews. But lion's mane crab cakes, where you take the lion's mane instead of crab, it is my most favorite. One of my most favorite meals I've ever had.
Well, I bet your grandfather would be proud.
Oh, thank
He
you.
would say, way to go, girly.
Oh yeah, I'm happy that he got to kind of see the start of it.
Well, here is where you can cheer them on to success in the TVFCU Idea Leap grant, and then watch for them at the Chattanooga market and learn more about them online as well as Gowin Valley Farms. Their information there on your screen, and best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
so
It was
much.
great to have you.
If you have a banking need, whether it's for a small business idea of your own, a mortgage or car loan, even a savings account for a new baby, TVFCU would love to help you. Online or in person, they're there to help. Learn more at tvfcu.com.
Don't miss Ashley's 48-hour super sale Friday and